Hope I'm audible and visible to all of you. So let's start our today's session. And today we have to do lecture 30. Lecture 30, that is Carnatic Wars and Anglo-French Rivalry. So what does lecture 30 means? Lecture 30 means that we have done, 29 lectures and one orientation session. So yes, sir, let's start today's lecture. And before we talk about today's lecture, just give me a second. Let me see the chat. And you can ask your doubts, your queries, whatever doubts, your queries you people have. So we have to do a recap. Here we will talk about two major powers, Britishers and French, and they will fight. And we'll talk about these fights, So before we talk about their fights in the southern India, why they are fighting in southern India only? Why not in eastern India, western India, northern India? What is, good evening, Kritika. So what is there, why? There is one question which we have to know from pre-mains, both perspective. Why they are involved in southern India? Why not eastern, western or northern India? So that is one major question which is important from both pre and mains perspective. And then we have to talk about three Anglo-Carnatic wars. There are certain discrepancy related to dates, like what are the discrepancies, we have to talk about that as well. First Anglo-Carnatic war, some people say 1740 to 48, some people say 1746 to 48. Why that discrepancy is there, we have to talk about that. Then there are different battles which will be coming in different Carnatic wars. Battle of Adyar, Battle of Amber, what these battles are, who is Aire Koot, who is Lally, Duplex. We know about duplex, we'll know something more about duplex. So there are so many things which we have to discuss here. And like Kritika, other people also, if you have any doubts, any queries, you can ask me that and we'll start the discussion today. So in the previous lectures, when we have talked about coming of Europeans, we have talked about, English and how they made their factory, established EIC rather around 1599, 1600, and then they required something known as monopoly. Because if you don't give monopoly to any of these companies, they're not coming from, 10 kilometers far away. They're coming from crossing multiple seas. They're coming after crossing multiple seas and they are incurring a lot of expenses. So they need monopoly, and that's why whenever EIC, you can see these royal charters, they were given rather. So here in royal charter rather, they are giving exclusive privilege. And please understand this, I think we have discussed this multiple times, why this exclusive privilege is needed. Otherwise these companies, they would not be incurring the profit which they require for carrying out such long distance trade. All these things we have discussed earlier, so I'm not reading it. You can revise the previous lecture which was related to advent of Europeans in India. And then what happened during the period of Jahangir, you had 1609, 1615, two periods, two people will arrive. William Hawkins will arrive in 1609, and then Sir Thomas Roe will arrive in 1615. In between, 1612 Battle of Swally will happen and things will change for the better for EIC, and here we are referring to English EIC. So all these things we had our discussions earlier. And then because this is a period when we are talking about 1611, 13, so this is a period when up until from 1526 till 1707, the six powerful Mughal rulers will be there. And because of which, what will happen? English EIC will focus in the southern India, because they are feeling like in northern India, these, Mughal rulers, they are very powerful. So let's confine ourselves to southern India. Let's not go that much in the northern portion. Plus, they are more focused on the port towns, and most of these port towns, because of the geography of India, you will see in the southern region. Fine. So we have to, again, we had these discussions. 1613, they opened their permanent factory at Surat. We have seen multiple UPSC PYQs asked on this particular point, and UPSC loved Jahangir, they loved Thomas Roe, William Hawkins, and they have asked a lot of questions in these, or on these domains rather. So English early factories, here three dates are important. When we are talking about Carnatic War, just remember three dates. All these Bol Bachan and facts we have discussed earlier. 1639, 1651 and 1661-62. So 1639, Madras region, they've established their factory. 1651, Suja, one of the brothers of Aurangzeb, gave them, some rights to establish some of the factories in Kolkata region, the current Kolkata. And 1661, they will get, dowry, Bombay as dowry from Portugal. Why they are getting Bombay as Dory from Portugal, that we have discussed when we have discussed the Portuguese and the Spanish, friction which used to happen. And there was a period from 1580 to 1640 when Spain conquered Portugal. So Portugal and Spain, they were not having very hunky-dory relationship, so to say. And Portugal needed Britain to help them fight against Spain. And in return, Britain asked them to give them Bombay as dowry. So all these things we have discussed. Just remember the chronology, that will help you. So 1651, let's write Calcutta. 1660, 162 Bombay. So these are the areas where EIC has some factories. That's what we have discussed earlier. Let's move on. English factories, all these things we have discussed earlier. You can revise these. These are the slides which you have seen in Advent of Europeans Part 1 and Part 2. Cool, sir. What else then? Internal developments. As EIC kept on expanding, then they started giving more and more power to their officials, and that is what is written here. Again, we have discussed this. This is just a recap. And then we have discussed about French. They arrived last around 1664, and this Anglo-Carnatic War will happen because we have seen around 1639, EIC, English EIC, they are setting up their factory in around the region of Madras. And French, their major hub or their major settlement will be happening around Pondicherry. And Pondicherry and Madras are very close to each other, because of which fight will happen. And then there are multiple other reasons involved also, which we'll talk about in just few moments from now. So again, this is a recap. We have talked about French 1664. Unlike English EIC, which is a private company, French EIC is a public corporation based on the whims and fancies of a king known as King Louis XIV. Okay. And again, okay, so King Louis XIV. So this is one of the reasons later on when we'll talk about why French EIC and French East India Company were defeated by English EIC. So this will be one of the reasons. You may have read about that this is a public company based on whims and fancies of King Louis XIV, who ruled for a very long period. But then again, if he was interested in some other things, the company's interest suffered. And there are multiple other reasons also why French EIC was defeated in the Anglo-Carnatic War by English EIC. So we'll talk about all those reasons as well later on. Again, this is a recap. We have discussed this. This particular book, Francois Bernier book, Travels in the Mughal Empire, is dedicated to King Louis XIV. And I think class 12 chapter 3 is based on, Francois Bernier. You can have a look at it, which particular chapter of class 12. There is one particular chapter in class 12 where they have exclusively talked about 3 authors, Al-Baruni. What is the book written by Al-Baruni? If you know it, you can post it in the chat section. I'm looking at your chat section. So Al-Baruni, then Ibn Battuta, and the third one is Francois Bernier. And his book Travels in the Mughal Empire, where he thought that all the lands in Mughal period were Khalisa land. Again, all these things we have discussed earlier. What is Khalisa land? If you know it, you can post it in the chat section or comment section, whatever floats your boat. So these are some points which are important, which you should be knowing about. So that particular, also one more thing, we have talked about one particular chapter of class 12th, new NCERT, rationalized NCERT, which talks about Al-Baruni, Ibn Battuta and Bernier. Which particular chapter we are talking about? If you know it, post that also in the chat section and comment section. Keep it interactive, bros. Okay, let's move on. So yes, these are the things which we have, we have yet not started our class. We are in the recap portion right now. French factories were established. You can have a look at it. So their main settlement was Puducherry. For a brief period of time, Dutch took it from them, and then they later on took it back from Dutch. So all these stories and Bol Bachan we have done earlier. I have also given you one particular thing, that Yanam, Puducherry, Karai, Kalmahe, you have to arrange them north to south, east to west. So do that also. I think UPSC has already asked one question on it. Cool, sir. And this was the part, again, which we have discussed earlier, that Dutch snatched Pondicherry. Because, see, understand one thing. One of the major reasons which is given why French EIC were not able to, defeat English EIC. There are multiple reasons. One reason was English EIC were very ruthless when it comes to acquiring territories. In Britain, there was a rhyme also, seize for colonies, rightly we boast, of all great countries, Great Britain has most. So these kind of things, Great Britain was very particular about acquiring more and more colonies. These French guys, Louis XIV and other people, apart from colonies, nobody hated colonies. Everybody was like, yeah, we need colonies. French people, French crown, they also wanted colonies, but the major focus was territorial possession in European mainland. So again, that is also one of the reasons why they were not focusing too much on, acquiring colonies like English people did or English companies did. So this is one point which we have to talk about later on as well. So again, let's move on, bros. These things we have discussed earlier. French will win control over Tanjore. They are going more and more closer to Madras, which will lead to something which we will start our discussion with today. Kritika Pandey. How are you, Kritika? Other people, can you hear me? Can you, if you have any doubts, any queries, I'm seeing you after a long time, sorry for that, sometime work comes and... So let's start. Rise of British supremacy, Anglo-French rivalry. Here we have to talk about three three Carnatic wars. So dates vary of these wars, but more or less, if you talk about first Anglo-Carnatic war, so that period is, some people say 1740 to 48. Hope you can see me writing it here. Oh, this page is little too glamorous and too colory, if that is a word. So yes, let me write it here. So first Anglo-Carnatic war, if we talk about it, so some people write it as 1740 to 48 because this coincided with something known as Austrian War of Succession. What that Austrian War of Succession is, we'll talk about in a few moments from now. But some people also believe that this was 1746 to 48. So don't worry about it. UPSC will not give you both these dates to you. So they will either give you 1746 to 48. What is the meaning here when we are talking about first Carnatic war? Why there is discrepancy in date here? Generally, you don't see discrepancies in modern history or, and this is actually end of medieval history. Modern history will arrive from 1757 onwards. According to Jadunath Sarkar, Battle of Plassey ends, modern history arrives. So why we are having a discrepancy here? Because Austrian War of Succession, that happened between 1740 to 48 and first Anglo-Carnatic war coincided with that. But during this whole period, French and Britishers, they were not fighting in India. From 1746, we will see there will be a battle which will happen, which is known as Battle of Adyar, which will commence the first Anglo-Carnatic war. So that's why it is more correct when you're talking about 17. I'm good, sir. Hope you are well. Missed your lectures. Miss you too. Miss you people too, bro. Kritika. So let's focus here. So 1746 to 48. Some people write like this. This is first Anglo-Carnatic war. 1749 to 1754. Second Anglo-Carnatic war, there is no discrepancy as such in this date. And then the third Anglo-Carnatic war, 1757 to 63. Some people also write 56 to 63. So all these things, all these dates, they are very basic thing. You will be able to remember it. First of all, we have to understand the concept here, why this fighting is happening. There are so many questions we have to ask. Carnatic kingdom, there are so many kingdoms also who are there. There will be so many kings also who will be involved here. We have to understand the basic intricacies which is involved in this story, because this is actually a topic which most of the people don't know much about. What they will do is they will just remember the dates. They will mug up the dates. But yes, it is not only about dates. It's much more than that. I'm seeing ads in front of me. I will skip it. Okay, let's focus. So yes, sir. What we were talking about. So here, Bol Bachchan is going on that most of the people believe that from 1757, when Battle of Plassey happened, Bengal, we have talked about earlier, Britishers, or EIC, English East India Company, they prove that they are here to stay. But many people believe that no, sir, not only from 1757, even 17 years or 10 years before that, first Anglo-Carnatic war, from there onwards, they have started showing the trends or the traits that they are here to stay. But then other group of scholars, they say that, bro, these people, if you see the story, and this is actually very interesting, very fascinating wars, these are 1740 to 48 or 46 to 48, and the second Anglo-Carnatic war. Almost first Anglo-Carnatic war and half of second Anglo-Carnatic war. French are the people who are calling the shots. Found this series 5 days ago, completing backlogs. Very good, Pragya. Complete the backlogs. You can watch it as standalone as well. Okay, so where was I? So again, please understand this. During the first Anglo-Carnatic war and second Anglo-Carnatic war, half of second Anglo-Carnatic war, French were the ones who were calling shots. But then things will change. We talk about Robert Clive. We talk about Robert Clive in Battle of Plassey. But you will see Robert Clive becoming a hero during Anglo-Carnatic war. And then this, this Battle of Plassey is just him playing an extended role in another war. So he became hero much before Battle of Plassey, and that is known as Battle of Arcourt, Siege of Arcourt. We'll talk about what is this Siege of Arcourt, which particular Anglo-Carnatic war we talk about when we talk about Siege of Arcourt. So all these things we have to discuss, and we'll discuss it mainly from pre-perspective because this is prelims crash course, but these things will help you in mains as well. So this is one question which will help you in pre as well as mains. Why these foreign powers, they are trying to gain the political power? This is one question, If you know it, you can post it in the comment chat section. I will wait for 10 seconds, 12 seconds. So let's make it as interactive as possible because I like it interactive. Otherwise, I feel like I'm talking to a, board, and it's all unidirectional in nature. So Pragya, Kritika and others, if somebody asks you this particular question, why these foreign powers started gaining the political power? What is the need for it? Why they didn't confine themselves to commercial activities? So let me give you 20 seconds, think about it and tell me. And then I will tell you the answer. Oh my God, I shout so much. See, understand one thing. Any foreign power or economic power, it's not a new phenomena. Even if you talk about currently, there are certain economic power in our country who tries to gain political power by giving political funding to political parties. That's also one way of acquiring political power. Let's say you are a company and you have given political funding to some political parties. Those political parties will work for you. So that's how, these companies, they gain political power. But EIC, these guys, they didn't have to even do that. They can directly acquire political power by, defeating these local rulers who were there. So everybody needs, let's say everybody wants to expand their domain, these foreign powers, these commercial powers, they will gain more if they also become a political power. That's a basic thing which you can understand. Even if you are a commercial power, let's say you are a Parle G company and you want to establish more and more hegemony, the best scenario will be when the political party, whom you are funding comes to power. Or even if you remove that particular political party, you establish your own political party, or you conquer that particular territory. Hope you are understanding what I'm saying. So this is a gradual evolution. These foreign powers, they started gaining political power because they realized that they can defeat these local rulers. First, they realized that these local rulers, they don't have enough naval power. So they started acquiring port towns, and slowly and gradually they, there is a statement by Sir John Seeley. It's a very fascinating statement that British conquered India in a fit of absent-mindedness. Where is PDF, sir, and all video? All videos are here only, Vishal. And PDF I am, uploading on my Telegram channel, Fun Study with Shubh. I have uploaded till lecture 29. So you can find it all there. And Fun Study with Shubh. I will show you that Telegram channel. You can also search it. So everything is here only. Nothing has gone anywhere else. So let's talk about, so John Seeley, he said Britishers conquered India in a fit of absent-mindedness. That is absolute wrong statement. You can talk about the positive as well as the negative aspect of that particular statement. They are very, very shrewd people. First they became commercial power, then they acquired port towns, and slowly and gradually they conquered hold of the mainland because they realized that they can do so many things with these local rulers. They can divide and rule them, and they are not as powerful as they envisioned them to be earlier. So again, all these bol bachchan is written here. This is one point which you have to understand. Everybody wants to acquire more and more power, and these commercial entities were no exception. Now the next question, which is more interesting than the first question, and that question is why this rivalry, when you're talking about Carnatic war per se, why these rivalries are emerging in South India? Why not in North India? Why not in Western India? Why not in Eastern India? So again, take 30-40 seconds and tell me the answer. Why this particular rivalry is emerging in South India? Why not in, North, or, oh, they have given you the answer here. You people can see the answer. So the answer is here. If you talk about this particular time period, we are talking about, French people, they have arrived by 1664. EICs are there, from 1613. 1613, they established their permanent factory at Surat. So all these things. So when you're talking about this particular period, Marathas, they became a formidable power from 1674 to 18. So they are the ones who are controlling the Western India. In Eastern India, around 1717, this we have discussed earlier, Murshid Quli Khan, he has established his own dynasty, Murshid Quli Khan, and then Alivardi Khan, all these guys will be there. So Western India, Marathas. Eastern India, you have Bengal Pass. So they are, and Northern India, they don't have the port towns, because of the geography of India. So the region which is left, where they can exercise some influence is South India, because here there is a Carnatic kingdom. We'll talk about this Carnatic kingdom. This Carnatic kingdom, they will rule from 1690 to 1855. And for a very long period, who will become the ruler in Carnatics was determined by Nizam of Hyderabad. We have talked about Nizam of Hyderabad, Asaf Jah. When we are talking about later Mughal rulers, we have talked about Nizam of Hyderabad, Asaf Jah, establishing Asaf Zahi dynasty. During the period of a later Mughal ruler, his name was Muhammad Shah Rangila. Why he was called Rangila? Because he loved Amir Khan's Rangila. Fine. So yes, so no, that is just a joke. Please don't take it literally. Just give me a second. So yes, sir, what we were discussing, I forgot. So 1690 to 1855, Carnatic was, or Carnatic kingdom was there. And more often than not, Nizam of Hyderabad was calling the shot. Who will become the ruler of the Carnatic kingdom? Nizam of Hyderabad, Asaf Zahi dynasty. So what will happen? There will be a scenario, we'll talk about this Carnatic war. Around 1748, Nizamul Mulk, who established this Asaf Jah dynasty, he will die. And now an anarchy will spread. No, most of the people, they are not knowing what will happen to Carnatic kingdom, who will become the new ruler and all these things. And that will give chance to these French people and these Britishers or British EIC to call shots here. Please understand, why are they calling shots here? Because we have discussed Madras and Puducherry. These are the two regions where Madras English EIC is active, Puducherry French EIC is active. And these regions are in the southern India. Carnatic kingdom is also located here only. And they will start calling first shots in the Carnatic kingdom region. And when in 1748 Nizamul Mulk will die, you will see these, French and EIC, English EIC, they will start playing roles in Hyderabad as well. And thus, you will see the start and the proliferation of this Carnatic war. So, we will talk about all these things. Cool, Vishal. So, yes, sir, let's move on and talk about all these things. So, first Carnatic war, 1746 to 48 or 1740 to 48. Both are correct. Don't worry too much about it. You can, both dates are correct. And somewhere you'll be seeing like 40 to 48 is written because Austrian War of Succession. There is a country called Austria in Europe, which if you see from last 200, 300 years, they have kept on getting contracted and contracted. Earlier, they were a very big empire, Austrian Empire. Now they are just like a minuscule component, with due respect to Austria. So Austrian War of Succession, who will become the next king or queen, Madam Sir of Austrian Empire? So there was there were two groups which were formed in Europe. So one group was supporting Maria Theresa. If I'm not wrong, even English group was supporting Maria Theresa, ma'am. Look at her, ma'am. Like, she's so good, ma'am. And like, okay, let's focus, bros. So Maria Theresa, there was one particular group in Europe led by Britain who was supporting Maria Theresa, that she should become the queen of Austrian Empire. Other group led by French, they were like, dude, no, we don't want Maria Theresa. We don't like her. We don't like. So again, this battle, and then English people were like, dude, let's continue this battle in India also, because we are fighting here. So let's fight anywhere and everywhere, wherever two entities are there. French people, especially Duplex, he's like, dude, let's not do that. We don't have enough, supply here in India. So let's keep our fight in Europe only. Britishers are like, no, we won't do that. We'll fight in India also, because we'll fight anywhere and everywhere. You are our enemy everywhere. I don't like your face. You don't like my face. So let's beat the crap out of each other. So they decided that they will fight anywhere and everywhere, and that is what is written here. Austrian War of Succession started in 1740, will go on till 1748. Same will be the trajectory of First Carnatic War, although the first battle you will be seeing is Battle of Adyar, which will be happening in 1746, and that's why some people believe 1746 to 48. So again, Bol Bachchan is written here. French people, they are trying hard to prevent the extension of this Austrian War of Succession in India, and Duplex is the French general here, the best French general these guys ever had. 1742 to 58, and he is like, dude, don't do that, don't fight here. But English counterparts, they are not listening, and they will fight, and then some more fight will happen. And this is what Duplex is saying, that let's not fight and let's clean doggy's potty. Okay, that is a very bad translation of this particular meme. Let's come here and let's have some more discussion. So background of hostility, Austrian War of Succession, we have discussed this. So French people, and this is also one of the reasons you will see in mains, and if you have read about this particular French and English EIC, why French people were defeated here. So this is one reason. Let's say British EIC, they had one settlement in Madras, one settlement in Kolkata, major settlements. So let's say they are fighting in Madras, they are fighting this Carnatic War in Madras, they need some support, they will get it from Kolkata or Calcutta, But French people, they have their one settlement in Puducherry. Their other major settlement nearby is in Mauritius. So let's say they are fighting a war with English EIC here. near Puducherry, if they are losing, they have to call help from Mauritius, bro. And Mauritius is not very near, you know. I will go like this and I will reach Mauritius. No, it will take time, and that is what is happening here. English people were like, no dude, we will continue the Austrian War of Aggression, or succession. That particular war will happen in India also, and they captured some French territories of French ships of the southeastern coast. You can see it here. The French people were like, dude, you did not listen, and you are undermining Duplex. You don't know who this Duplex guy is. So French people, they called help from Mauritius, and that help came. And Duplex messaged law button as, and again, my French people who are writing UPSC or who will be writing UPSC, if I'm pronouncing this name wrong, pardon me. So reinforcement came, and then Duplex was like, dude, I told you, you don't listen to me. You're undermining me. Now I will go, I will cross Puducherry, I will capture your Madras, and let's see what you do. So he did it. He is actually very brave. He is the one who should be actually credited for introducing subsidiary alliance. Lord Wellesley took the credit of subsidiary alliance rather, but when you will see these Anglo-Carnatic wars, you will see the elements of subsidiary alliance introduced by Duplex in Hyderabad in the form of Bassi. Who is that guy? Bassi, will talk about him later on as well. So again, that is what is written here. People, English people, they undermined Duplex. Duplex captured Madras, and now English people are crying and they are going to the Carnatic ruler. We have talked about Carnatic Empire. Again, if you go back, or kingdom, empire would be too big a word for them with due respect to Carnatic kingdom. So you see this Carnatic kingdom region, 1690 to 1855. And here at that particular point of time, when this particular thing happened, Britishers were defeated, or Madras was taken away from the Britishers by Duplex. So they will go to the Nawab of Carnatic and they will tell that, see, in your territory, Madras lies under your territory, sir, and see what French guys are doing. They have captured Madras from us. We are so innocent looking people, and they are actually targeting you, or in a way, they are challenging your hegemony by doing all these things. If, let's say, somebody is capturing the territories like Madras, it should be you, because this particular territory belongs to you. So in a way, they are not capturing our territory, they are capturing territories from you, Anwaruddin, they are challenging you. So all these things are being used by, or statements are being used by, may have been used by English people to incite the Nawab of Carnatic, that is Anwaruddin. Anwaruddin went to Duplex, he's like, dude, this is enough. You people are commercial power. Act like a commercial power. Don't start acting like a political power. This is the story which you mostly hear in books and everything. But the actual story, again, many people say was something else. So again, Duplex, he had a talk with Anwaruddin also, Nawab of Carnatic, just like English people are having talks. And Duplex was like, dude, let us have this fight with us. You don't interfere in this, Nawab Anwaruddin, Nawab of Carnatic. We will fight. We will decide. If I win this particular territory, that is Madras, Fort St. George, I will give you this territory. The only thing which he did not do was he captured this particular territory, Fort St. George, and he did not give it to Anwaruddin. He took it for himself that, okay, I don't believe that you have the power to take it back from me. I'm not giving it back to you. And that's why Anwaruddin, fought against Duplex in Battle of Adyar. It was not like you two people are creating ruckus in my kingdom, so that's why I am fighting Battle of Adyar with you. There was something which has happened. In a way, Duplex betrayed Anwaruddin, who was the Nawab of Carnatic. So this is one story which you have to understand, because this is a story which is not known to many people, and that is what is written here. So Nawab will send a large army to fight against French people, and then this battle will happen. Now this is important from exam perspective. We have read about all these stories, Bol Bachchan and everything. That's fine, bro. But Battle of Adyar, this happened during which Carnatic war? First Carnatic war, second Carnatic war, third Carnatic war, none of the above. This is a question which you have to be ready with. Again, I'm telling you, most of the people, like more than 90% of the people I have taught, most of the people don't like, Anglo-Carnatic wars. Students don't like Carnatic wars, teachers don't like teaching Carnatic wars. So you should be having conceptual clarity, because there are very few texts which can give you conceptual clarity. So this is what happened. Battle of Adyar happened. Important thing, it is associated with first Carnatic war. And again, what will be the result of this first particular, Battle of Adyar? You can understand this. French people, they have better artillery, weapon, and better, you have an awesome general in Duplex. So they will defeat Nawab Anwaruddin. Nawab means Anwaruddin, Nawab of Carnatic. And now Duplex will be like, dude, I'm enjoying this whole thing, and his power will increase. But again, if, in Jainism, we have talked about Utsarpanis and Avsarpanis, you will go through progressive and regressive cycle. So this is the progressive phase of duplex. He is going higher and higher up, but he will come down, and that time will come soon. But not that soon. It will take some years. Right now, French will be in the upward trajectory for First Anglo-Carnatic War and for half period of Second Anglo-Carnatic War, sir and ma'am. So again, Battle of Adyar, French people, they will defeat this Carnatic kingdom, and Carnatic kingdom is virtually ruled by Nizam of Hyderabad. So many things will change now, and we will see that. So Battle of Adyar, 18th century again. So after this, duplex will be, other people will be like, duplex sir, we have undermined you, you help us in resolving our local issues, and duplex will be like, okay, I am interested in doing that. Again, you can read all these things, what is written here. He will start interfering in the issues of local rulers because he have got a lot of, confidence boost after this Battle of Adyar, which happened in First Anglo-Carnatic War. I'm reiterating this thing again and again. It happened in First Anglo-Carnatic War. This is the point which you have to keep in mind. You can forget all the story, this happened, that happened, what Duplex said to this journal, and blah, 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 Maria Theresa. But please don't forget Battle of Adyar. It happened during First Carnatic War. Adyar is a region in Tamil Nadu. Okay, sir. So, Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle, 8 years have passed. Austrian War of Succession, 40 to 48. Britishers and French are like, bro, we have fought enough. Let's have a treaty. Then these guys are like, bro, but we have not yet decided whether Maria Theresa will become the, Madam Sir of the Austrian Empire or not. So, but again, then the Britishers and French were like, dude, we are very, very tired now. So, I have taken Madras from you. French people are like, we have taken Madras from you. We will return it to you. You take Madras. Just give us Louisburg in North America. Quid pro quo happened here. Quid pro quo. So we took something from you. We will give it back to you in India. Take your Madras. Give us Louisburg back in North America. Maria Theresa ma'am is here like, dude, this whole thing was happening because of, War of Austrian Succession. You people were fighting over whether I will succeed the, just give me a second. But you people have not actually resorted that issue. That issue is still there, whether I will, become the queen of Austrian Empire or not. British and French people are like, dude, we are enough. Like, enough war has happened. 8 years have happened. So we need a treaty. This is Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. Again, all these jibber jabber, you can forget. All these jibber jabber done by me, you can forget. Just remember, First Carnatic War concluded with Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. When was Treaty of Paris signed? After which Carnatic War? When was Treaty of Pondicherry signed? After which Carnatic War? So these are the things which are important. I will do stupid jokes just to make you remember those treaties. Just to make you remember which battle is associated with which Carnatic War. Fine, sir. Madras was restored. French got Louisburg in North America. Both of them are happy. The only people who is facing depression. What is she facing? She's not facing depression. She's facing depression. And who is facing depression? Maria Theresa. Because she's like, you people are so opportunistic, British and French. You have not resolved the issue. And she is in too much depression. And she is crying. But nobody is looking after her. Sad Maria Theresa. So let's come back here. So again, when you are enemies for so long, you remain enemy. Again, what I'm trying to say is British and French, they have just resorted their issue for the time being. This issue will keep on happening, and there are issues in South India. South India during that particular period was very vulnerable, and Duplex is still powerful because people are still coming to him to resort issues. Depression one. Okay. Thank you, Kritika, for that laughing meme. Okay, so yes, let's focus, bros. So dynastic feuds in South India provide, now see, understand one thing. Second Carnatic War is more interesting than the First Carnatic War. First Carnatic War, we have seen what was happening. Austrian War of Succession moved on to India, and people undermined English EIC, especially undermined Duplex. Second Carnatic War, there are issues in Carnatic Kingdom. What are those issues? We'll talk about it. Marathas are also involved here. Oh my God. So yes, but this 1748, let's come back. 1748, Nizam Shah of Hyderabad, Asif Zahi died. So now there is a dynastic issue in Hyderabad also. Who will become the, Nizam of Hyderabad? One section wants the son of Nizamul Mulk to become the Nizam. The other wants the grandson to become the Nizam. So there is a dynastic issue in Hyderabad also. In Carnatic, what has happened was around 1740, listen to it like a story. So, Suru Majburi mein kiye the, exactly, Kritika. So again, where were we? Yeah, so around 1740, Marathas, what has happened was, let's again look at the map. Let me go back and let's see a very old map. So see, Marathas, these people, this is the period around 1740s, before third battle of Panipat. Do revise. See, understand one thing. When you are reading later Mughals, we have already done later Mughals. So later Mughals and Marathas, do it concurrently. When you are revising later Mughals, revise Marathas also, because most of the things are overlapping when you are reading about these two kingdoms. So Marathas 1740. If I ask you right now, I think you people must have forgotten. So 1740 was the period, 1720 to 1740. Bajirao won, he was ruling. 1740 to 61, he was the Peshwa. Balaji Bajirao, he was the Peshwa. So Marathas around 1740, they invaded Carnatic kingdom. They invaded Carnatic kingdom. At that time, Nawab was Dostali. Carnatic Nawab was Dostali. They killed Dostali and they took away his son-in-law, Chand Sahib. So they killed Dostali. Chand Sahib, he was supposed to become the Nawab, but they captured him. And it will remind you somewhat of Battle of Raigad, which happened around 1689, where Mughals, in a deceitful manner killed Shambhaji Maharaj, Chhatrapati Shambhaji Maharaj, and took away Shahu. Not exactly similar, because Shahu was son of Shambhaji Maharaj, but here the son-in-law of Dostali, and we'll talk about, that was Chand Sahib. Marathas took him captive. So this happened in 1740. Now in 1748 or around 1748, two events will happen. What are those two events? 1748, Nizam of Hyderabad died. And what else happened? We'll see what else happened. So 1748, Marathas released Chand Sahib. Again, this will remind you of around 1707, when Bahadur Shah released Shahu. So again, history teaches you something. You can always do a comparison here. So Chand Sahib has come out from the captivity of Marathas. He is now in Carnatic kingdom. So again, there will be a succession debate which will be happening in Carnatic kingdom also. Succession debate which will be happening in Hyderabad also. And Duplex is like, bro, I have started this thing, just like that. Now I'm, feeling it. I want to continue this. Like, I will decide who will become or I'll be the kingmaker here. Just like nobles were the kingmaker in the later Mughal period. But the only difference is nobles were not that powerful. Duplex is actually very powerful. So we'll see what Duplex will do now. Duplex is enjoying everything. Okay, so succession disputes in Carnatic and Hyderabad. This is what I've just told you. Duplex is enjoying the whole thing. He's just like Johnny Liver here. And this was the story. In 1740s, Marathas invaded the Carnatic kingdom, killed Nawab Dostali, and took his son-in-law Chand Sahib. He is not Chanda Sahib, he is Chand Sahib, as prisoner to Satara. In 1743, again, we are just discussing this whole thing. Anwaruddin Khan, he was the Nawab who fought the Battle of Adyar, in which Duplex defeated him. We have talked about this thing. So Nizam of Hyderabad appointed him when this whole thing happened and Marathas invaded Carnatic kingdom. But in 1748, Chand Sahib was freed by the Marathas. Marathas were like, dude, let's enjoy the situation now. Because in Hyderabad, the Nizam had died. Let's try to, take some popcorn, drink some coke, and let's enjoy what happens in Carnatic region. So that is the whole thing which is happening. 1748, Chand Sahib was freed. And in the same year, Nizam-ul-Mulk passed away. So 1748 is a very happening year when you took into account Carnatic was, so to say. So he was succeed. Now, understand one thing. There are two people who want to become the Nizam of Hyderabad now. One is son of Nizam-ul-Mulk. Other is grandson of Nizam-ul-Mulk. Son of Nizam-ul-Mulk will be supported by English people. But not that wholeheartedly. Right now also, English people are not taking the whole situation very seriously. There will come a point when we'll talk about Seas of Arcot, when Britishers will be like, oh my God, if you don't pay attention now, this Duplex will, he has conquered the southern India region, or then he may go, upward and do whatever he wants to do. He's becoming more and more powerful. So up until now, again, English EIC is not taking matters very seriously, and French EICs are calling the shots. They're more forward looking. So Nasir Jung, he will be later on supported by English EIC, but he will die very soon. But we'll talk. I will not give you, let's keep the things under wraps now. Let's build the suspense for the time being. This grandson, now, son Nasir Jung, he has become the Nizam of Hyderabad, but there are some other people. And there is exactly one people who want to become the Nizam, who's not very happy. And this is grandson Muzaffar Jung. He will go to Duplex. He's like, Duplex, bro, I will give you this, I will give you that, I will give you, whatever you want to. If you want chili paneer, I will give you chili paneer. I will give you chili chicken. I will give you rara chicken. I will give you anything you want to. I will give you vegetarian food if you want to be a vegetarian guy. So I will give you anything you want. Just make me the Nizam of Hyderabad. He was like, bro, I am doing that now. I have got a habit of it. I will continue doing it. Don't worry about it. So now this is the situation which is there in Hyderabad. And what is the situation which is there in, Carnatic? Will see. Anwaruddin will soon die now. And when Anwaruddin will die, then the battle of succession will happen in Carnatic also. There is a son of Anwaruddin, and we'll talk about him, Muhammad Ali. And then there is Chand Sahib, who is the son-in-law of Dost Ali. You don't have to remember that many names. You will remember these names once we have discussed about them 10 or 1,000 times. We'll talk about these guys. So this dynastic succession, these, succession wars will happen here in Carnatic also, in Hyderabad also, and that will lead to second Carnatic war, and we'll talk about it. So Muzaffar Jung now allied with Chand Sahib, and both these guys will be supported by French. Muzaffar Jung, grandson of Nizamul Mulk, Chand Sahib, son-in-law of Dost Ali. Both these guys will be held by Duplex. He's like, dude, I will make sure that you two people become the rulers of Hyderabad and Carnatic. What is in there for Duplex? Again, these are just two puppet rulers, with due respect to these two people, Muzaffar Jung and, Chand Sahib, but they are being installed by Duplex. You can just understand him like Sayyid brother installing Farooq Sayar or Rafi Uddazarat or Shah Jahan to whatever we have discussed earlier. So Duplex is the kingmaker, or is acting as a kingmaker here. Cool, bros. Let's move on. So intervention by Duplex. Duplex is like this, sir. Pankaj Tripathi, sir. Now don't worry about it. I will make sure everything happens in the way you people want it to happen. I just want certain things. You people have to give it to me, and we will see what he wants. So now, again, you read this whole story. He plays support to Muzaffar Jung, grandson of Nizamul Mulk, Chand Sahib, who is the son-in-law of Dost Ali, the earlier Nawab of Carnatic, who was killed by Marathas. Thus, a tripartite bond was developed between French Chand Sahib and Muzaffar Jung. See, these days, there is a portrait going on that... So again, I will not go there. I just want to live. I don't want to say anything controversial. I'm very fearful of so many things right now. So let's focus here. So tripartite bond which is happening. French people, Chand Sahib, who is representing Carnatic, and Muzaffar Jung, who is representing Hyderabad. This is what you have to understand. Cool, sir. So in August 1749, these three allies, they will ambush and kill Anwaruddin. Battle of Adyar. He has already been defeated by Duplex earlier in Battle of Adyar, which happened in First Anglo-Carnatic War. Now this is Battle of Amber, which happened in Second Anglo-Carnatic War, and these are, in the words of Shaktiman, choti chote magar moti baatein. That means small but very important things. Battle of Adyar, Battle of Amber. Now Anwaruddin sir has gone to God, and now his son Muhammad Ali is like, dude, where should I run? So there was NIT Trichy, Trichonopoli. He went there and he completed his BTech from there. No, that's a joke. So he fled to Trichonopoli. And then Duplex is like, dude, I will go after you. Tera piche na main chodunga soni. There is a song that means that I will go after you. I will not leave you, bro. So all these things will happen. Now you are understanding what is happening here. Duplex is calling the shot, and that's why we discussed earlier that First Carnatic War and major portion of Second Carnatic War, French people are calling the shots, but then tides will turn, because that's what happens, Unless you are Sachin Tendulkar or Shah Rukh Khan, your time will also go down and some other people will go up, and that will happen in this scenario as well. So his son Muhammad Ali, blah, blah, Chand Sahib became the Nawab of Carnatic. So whatever Duplex wants, those things are happening. I'm not reading the slides. I'm just telling you, Chand Sahib, son-in-law of Dost Ali, he became the Nawab of Carnatic. Now the next scenario is, the grandson of Nizamul Mulk, he becomes Nawab of Hyderabad, and that will also happen. You will see all these things are going in the favor of French people. After this, the allies marched to Deccan. The French army surprised and killed Nasir Jung, who is the son of Nizamul Mulk, sad, and installed Muzaffar Jung as the Nizam of Hyderabad. Duplex is like, bro, I told you that I will do the Prabandh, if you go back to the previous meme. So he is like, okay, Duplex sir, you are awesome. Tell me, what do you want? Nasir Jung is saying all these things. So Duplex is like, dude, let me install a, replica of subsidiary alliance. I will install a guy called Bassi here. Many of you, I don't know, in our time there was a show, there was a series. Why so much Hindi in this English class? Because sometimes jokes, the meaning of jokes get killed in the English version, bro, Arjun. But I try to, recreate the English version, Arjun. So hope you are understanding everything. So yes, sir, the memes are in Hindi. I'm trying to explain the meaning in English. Again, let's focus what we were discussing. So Jassi, in our time, there was a show which was called as Jassi Jassi Koi Nahi. So Jassi and Bassi this Bassi word you will be able to remember. And again, this is a replica. What duplex is doing in Hyderabad, he is placing at the disposal of Muzaffar Jung the service of his officer called Bassi. Later on, when you will read modern history in more detail, you will realize that this is very similar. This is how, you have subsidiary alliance also. British people, they will station some British officers and they will be looking into the affairs, and then they will be going back to British EIC, telling them what actually happened there. So, and some amount of army officers will be stationed in the local ruler's territory. So, this is very, very similar. Yes, exactly, Kritika. So, what we were discussing, I forgot. Just give me a second. So, yes, sir, Bassi, Jassi, these are the things which will, your chat section. These are very similar, and this is the earliest form of subsidiary alliance which you are seeing, and that's why even when you are doing mains, answer writing, etc., this will help you in pre. This is mainly for pre, but sometimes they will write, some people credit duplex as the, or he implemented certain version of subsidiary alliance. So this is one version of subsidiary alliance. Bassi will be installed in Hyderabad. He'll be looking after the affairs. He's actually keeping a tab on Nasir Jung and ensuring that Nasir Jung is doing certain things which has been said by duplex. Nasir Jung will die very young, but then again a puppet ruler will be there. Salabat Jung, will talk about it. So soon afterward, Muzaffar Jung was killed, and again Bassi maintained French influence, blah blah blah, and his nominee Salabat Jung remained on the throne. You can remember these names, you can have a look at these names. These names are fine, but try to understand. Bassi is still calling the shot, and if Bassi is calling the shot, that means duplex is calling the shot. And currently we are in second Carnatic war. What are the things which we have discussed? Battle of Adyar, Battle of Amber, which particular Carnatic war they are associated with, and now things will change. In this way, Bassi went on to control the political fortune of the Deccan for 7 years. French power in the south was now at its height. Now it has to go down, and how it will go down, we'll see. So now the second part of the story starts. Up until now, everything is going very hunky-dory for Britishers. French people. But now things will change. If you remember, Muhammad Ali, he was the son of Nawab Anwaruddin. He is running. He has gone to Trichonopoli, Trichy region, Tamil Nadu. And French people are after him. Now will come, Robert Clive. You will hear about Robert Clive. He was there in the first Anglo-Carnatic War also. There he was captured by, when French people, they captured Madras, they also captured Robert Clive. But now he will come again here in second Carnatic War, and he will start a siege of Arcot. Let's try to understand it. So, Nawab Anwaruddin's son, Muhammad Ali, he is running away from French people. He is running away from, Chand Sahib. So, he is running away from Carnatic ruler, he is running away from French people. Two armies are coming for him. And Robert Clive, or the English EIC, they are like, dude, if Muhammad Ali dies, with that, our influence in this region will also decrease to a certain extent. So we have to save Muhammad Ali. How we can save Muhammad Ali? By diverting the resources of, Carnatic and the French people. So let's do something. Let's do a siege of Arcot. What is siege of Arcot? Arcot is the capital of the Carnatic Empire. So they are like, dude, if we do a siege of Arcot, then they have to send one portion of the army to Arcot, and the amount of army which they are currently sending to kill Muhammad Ali, that will reduce to a certain extent. And that was the plan of Robert Clive, and that actually proved to be a master stroke. We'll see that. So emergence of Robert Clive. He was there during the first Anglo-Carnatic War also, when, French people duplex captured Madras. But at that time, he was not the figure who was doing most of the work, but he was there. Now he will be the hero. So meanwhile, Muhammad Ali had taken refuge in the fortress of Trichy or Trichonopoli, and Chand Sahib, French people, they are like, we have to kill him. If we don't kill him, people's support may be, may remain with him, so we have to kill him. The British people, realizing that the situation implied a serious threat, because in Hyderabad they are already calling the shots, and they don't want them to be calling the shot in Carnatic also. Hyderabad is still fine, but if you see Madras, how close, or the Madras is a part of the Carnatic Empire only, so they wanted that in Carnatic region at least they should have their own influence, and that's what exactly happened. Good evening, Nikhil. So yes, sir. Just give me a second. Let me take a breath. Yes, sir. So we are talking about all these things. Why Britishers want Muhammad Ali to live, and why they want him to become the Nawab of Carnatic, because they don't want to lose influence in the Carnatic region. That's why. Fine, sir. Thank you, Nikhil. Let's continue the discussion. Oh, hello. I sometimes trip on my own wire. So emergence of Robert Clive. So now what will happen? Siege of Arcot. What is important from exam perspective? Battle of Adyar, Battle of Amber, Siege of Arcot, associated with which Carnatic war? This is very, very important from pre-perspective. Rest all things, all fodders, you can use it for means as well. So emergence of Robert Clive. Robert Clive saved the day for British. He suggested that French, again we have discussed this, French pressure on Muhammad Ali from both sides. French people, Carnatic Empire, Chand Sahib, everybody is after Muhammad Ali. So let's do the diversionary tactic. Could be released by attacking Arcot, the capital of Carnatic. Thus attack upon Arcot was used as a diversionary tactic so that pressure on Muhammad Ali reduces to a certain extent. And this is known as Siege of Arcot, which proved to be very successful. Robert Clive kept, and this Siege of Arcot is important. Associated with which Carnatic war? Second Anglo-Carnatic war. What happened here? Clive stormed Arcot with a small force of only 210 men, and this story is not very dissimilar. Similar kind of story we have already heard when we have talked about, Battle of Adyar, small forces of Robert Clive, they defeated Handwritten. Similar kind of story you are seeing here in Siege of Arcot. Clive stormed Arcot with a small force. Again, here we have to take it with a tinge of salt. How correct, how false it is, we don't know. Sometimes people can exaggerate stuff, but yes, the reality is Clive won the battle. That is a reality, won the siege. So Chand Sahib, alarmed by the attack on his capital, sent the best troops from Trichinopoly. That's what happened. That was the aim. From Trichy, where your Muhammad Ali is stationed, he is fighting for his life. Army will be sent to Arcot because this is the capital. If Clive captures the capital, what prestige will remain of, the Carnatic Empire? Clive successfully sustained the famous siege for 53 days, almost 2 months, and received help in the form of reinforcement. Again, he's getting help from Madras and some Indian allies, because of which siege of Arcot will be successful. And then this Chand Sahib will be killed. Anwaruddin will become the Nawab of Carnatic. All these will be very, very shocking for the French people. It's just like Third Battle of Panipat. Nobody ever expected that, Marathas will be defeated by the Afghani people. Similarly here, the situations were so favorable for Duplex, the whole scenario, nobody expected the siege of Arcot to work, and then to, like Chand Sahib to get killed, and Muhammad Ali to become the Nawab of Carnatic. So Clive, again, read this whole thing. Clive then came out of the besieged town, attacked and defeated Chand Sahib, and then beheaded him. So all these stories which we talk about, like currently there's a movie called Chhava. I made a video on YouTube, and so I get very fearful about making videos on any issue right now. So there we talk about Sambhaji Maharaj, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, what happened and what Aurangzeb did to him. And I have, I think, told you when we talked about Aurangzeb, we talked about Dara Shikoh, what Aurangzeb actually did to his brother Dara Shikoh, how he killed him, how he gave those, cut parts to his father Shah Jahan as a gift. So this guy, Aurangzeb, he did not even spare his brother, and he killed him in the most ruthless fashion possible. So again, hope you can understand. For him, he was a bygod. For him, nothing mattered, whether you're Hindu or a Muslim or your own brother. If he wanted to kill you, he will kill you in the most heinous way possible. Okay, let's not go there. Let's continue our discussion, which we are discussing. Siege of Arcot. Encouraged by the capture of Arcot, Chand Sahib was captured, beheaded. Muhammad Ali then became the undisputed Nawab of Carnatic. So now the tides are turning. Up until the first Anglo-Carnatic wars and one half of the second Anglo-Carnatic war, French were calling the shots. Now things will change. The fate of French governor Dupleix was sealed. There was a time period we have discussed. French EIC, based on the whims and fancies of Louis XIV. Louis XIV is not always interested in this trade thing. He has a lot of things to do. He's fighting for territorial conquest in European mainland. So again, sometimes his mind will be diverted. It was said that during this whole period when this Carnatic war was going on, or were going on, there was a period when Dupleix was using his own money, because the money which used to come from, these crown people, they used to take their own sweet time. Your point was clear? Okay. Thank you, Kritika. So again, let's focus on the point here. So directors of the French company, they were like, dude, Dupleix, you have created enough ruckus, bro. You had like, I am feeling the heat now. I'm feeling the political, all these things there, and I am loving it. No, you are creating a mess out of it. Our relationship with Britishers are going out of hand. Plus, we are losing so much money. Plus, there is so much instability in the Carnatic region. How will you do trade when you are involved in so many, wars and bloodbath there? So come back, bro. Enough is enough. And this was a mistake done by French people, which they will realize later. They will send Gaude Heyu. Later on, they will send Lally. Nobody was like Dupleix. Dupleix was awesome. Just like Barney Stinson says, awesome, I'm awesome. Again, so Dupleix, this whole thing was very surprising for Duplex also, and very, very catastrophic for Duplex ambitions in India. He will be called back, he will go back, and now the decline of French EIC we will see. 1st August 1754. Now, French people, they are in a placatory mode. Hope that is the word. Placatory mode means they're like, again, we have fought for so long, bro. 6 years have passed now. Let's call it a deal. So there will be another treaty which will be signed now. And so these treaties, like the first Anglo-Carnatic War, ended with which particular treaty? What was the treaty which we have discussed? First Anglo-Carnatic War. Chepandis. So first Anglo-Carnatic War ended with Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. So do remember these treaties. These treaties are actually very important. So second will end with Treaty of Pondicherry. Third will end with Treaty of Paris. So these treaties we cannot forget. So 1754, and again here both the companies agreed that, bro, enough is enough. We have fought for 6 years war. So now this will again remind you, when later on again you will read modern history, you will read Gandhiji. So Gandhiji's policy was struggle to struggle, pressure, compromise, pressure, because he believed that you cannot struggle indefinitely. You cannot put pressure indefinitely. You cannot, like any particular movement cannot go on forever. Non-cooperation, be it non-cooperation or civil disobedience or quit India, it has to stop. So struggle, compromise means pressure, compromise, or STS, struggle to struggle, pressure, compromise, pressure. Similar here, they used to fight and they're like, dude, enough fight, we are tired now, so let's do a treaty. So earlier Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle, now Treaty of Pondicherry, third will be Treaty of Paris. You have to remember it. Sometimes they will give you first Anglo, second Anglo-Carnatic War, third Anglo-Carnatic War, and the treaties, and you can get confused there. Very good, not very good, but you have to remember it. So again, French continued to maintain their hold over Hyderabad. Again, you can see what is happening here. Not much is changing. Much will change after the third Anglo-Carnatic War. One battle will happen, Battle of Wandiwash in 1760, and then French people will be confined to just doing commercial activities in India. So English influence had been established in Carnatic, while their candidate Muhammad Ali installed as the Nawab of Carnatic. Now what is happening in Hyderabad? In Hyderabad, Salabat Jung, nominee and Bassi is still there. But again, as we keep on saying in modern history as well as other portion, that everybody respects the rising sun. And in this scenario, now the rising sun is English EIC. So slowly and gradually, the Nizam of Hyderabad will also start, respecting or tilting more towards the English EIC, which we'll see in few moments from now. Tikashe. So let's move on. Third Carnatic War, 1757 to 1763, somewhere you can also see it like 1756 to 1763. Again, don't worry too much about the dates. Like the first Carnatic War, again, things are happening here. 7-year war is going on in Europe, and then French and Britishers are like, dude, can we continue to India also? Because let's feel it there as well. We are loving it here. So then they decided a pact that let's continue it here also, and then it continued in India also. So 7 years war broke out in Europe. But now things will change drastically for French people, because 1757, Battle of Plassey, Bengal. Bengal at that particular point of time was one of the richest province not only in India but in whole of Asia. Very fertile, Gangetic Plain region, trade was going on. So many things were working for them. So, and Battle of Plassey happened, they got a lot of revenue, Jamindari rights, this and that, so much money, because you know what they did, we have talked about it. So much exploitation happened that in 1770, a Bengal famine happened, 1/3 population died there. So yes sir, this is what, and there was a history optional question also, we have discussed this I guess, that Duplex sought for India's key in Pondicherry, and Clive sought it and found it in Bengal. So now things will change for the, for the finality for British EIC, if that is a word, that now they will be the one who will be calling the shot and everything will change. Like now, end is near. That is what I'm trying to say. 1760, Battle of Wandiwash, final and a very, very decisive victory for English EIC. Battle of Wandiwash. Who fought it? Lally fought it. Who defeated Lally? Ire Coote. So there is a movie in our time which was called as Gangs of Washipur. You may not have heard about it. That movie is not for kids. So in Gangs of Washipur, they say, "Kya kiye? Koot diye." Koot diye means I beat him a lot, or whatever you can understand it like. I gave him so many hits. So Ire Coote defeated Lally in Battle of Wandiwash 1760. Kya kiye? Koot diye. That means what did I do? I just gave him this one after the other. IRA Court defeated Lally. We'll talk about it. So all these things are happening. 7 years war in Europe. French people again are in an attacking mode. So they will call this Gaude Heyu that, bro, you are too pacifist. Let me send Lally to India, and he will be the one who is looking similar to Duplex. So he will recreate the things earlier done by Duplex. So now Lally will arrive. Lally is a guy who is, who has so much valor in him, but the only valor will not do. Like there are 50 points associated with, Superman. Superman, whose name is, I forgot the name of the Superman. He has good bulging biceps. So there is 50 points associated with that guy. And one of those 50 points is 80% of your success in life depends on how you, manage people. Managing people is an art. Not everybody has it. I don't have it. I am trying to learn it. So yes, managing people is an art. He did not know how to manage people. He had ego issues with the soldiers who will be stationed here. And then finally he will be guillotined. His head will be, that was a very favorite thing to do in the ancient times. And that's why we keep on saying that, when people and one king is doing something bad to other king, this was the norm, not an exception. So we'll talk about that later on as well. So Lally has arrived now with the intention that I will do dishum with Britishers. I will kill them all and I will acquire all these Indian territories. So that is the aim. Generally aims are high only. So now this guy has come. He attacked Fort St. David. Now just remember Fort St. George, Fort St. William for your exam perspective. If you know what is Fort St. George, Fort St. William, you can post it in the comment section. There will be other forts also. This Fort St. David is Kudalore. This Kudalore is 100 miles away from Chennai. So he attacked this area, he captured it. Then he wanted to capture Madras region, but he was not able to because he was, again, maybe you are at 60, but you're thinking you're at 100. Maybe he overestimated his strength or whatever. But there was other reason also. People did not like him. Sometimes it's not about, when you are a superior, it's not only about you have talent. You also have to nurture people who are below you. So he did not have that nurturing quality. People felt like he was arrogant or what. So Lally's attack on Madras ended in failure as he could not get naval support. Fort St. George is Madras. Just give me a second, bro. Your chats go down and down and down. Okay. Just give me a second. So yes, sir, we are talking about Lally's attack and how it will not prove to be successful. The French company also faced shortage of ammunition, lack of funds. All these things are happening because this is not a private company. This is a public company based on the whims and fancies of Louis XIV. And Louis XIV does not have only one work that he has to look after, this French EIC, because of which sometimes he was not able to give adequate attention to French EIC, and this was precisely one time when that was happening and French company was suffering. They were bleeding from inside. Lally was rude and overbearing in his conduct, and his officials, his subordinates were like, bro, give us respect, bro. What are you doing? So all these things will not help Lally in the long run. That is what is written here. You can have a look at it. Cool. Let's move on. So D. Lally at this critical juncture, again, he is having fights after fights with the Britishers. He's not getting the support of his own soldiers. So finally, he will lose the Nizam of Hyderabad. He will also conclude a favorable treaty with the Britishers because he's realizing that Britishers are the rising sun. And this guy Lally is very hot-headed. His own soldiers is not supporting him. So I cannot trust these French people anymore. So let me go with the tide. And the tide is with EIC, English EIC. So let me, have a favorable treaty with Nizam Salabat Jung. French influence in Deccan was lost. They have already lost their influence in the Carnatic region. After Muhammad Ali became the king, he was made the king by Robert Clive, Seas of Arcot. We have talked about it. And now they will lose their influence in Hyderabad as well. All these things are happening. Battle of Wandiwash. Now, this is a battle. Wandiwash is in Tamil Nadu. Do remember it, 1760. And this is one of the favorite question, or this was one of the favorite question asked by UPSC a lot earlier. Well, they will give you this Battle of Palasi, Battle of Buxar, Battle of Wandiwash, this and that battle, and then they will tell you to arrange them chronologically. So, Battle of Wandiwash, 1760. English Army led by General Ira Coote. This guy is actually very, very efficient guy. So you have to remember these names. Who was the general during the battle? And again, this question has been asked a lot as well. That who was the general during Battle of Palasi, during Battle of Buxar, during Battle of Wandiwash. So all these things are important. Give me, you can post it in the comment section or chat section. Who was the general during Battle of Buxar? English general during Battle of Buxar. Most of the people know Battle of Palasi, Robert Clive. Who was the general, means British general during Battle of Buxar. It was not Robert Clive. It was someone whose name initials are HM. If you know it, you can post it in the comment section. Then similarly, Battle of Wandy Wash, General I.R.A. Coote. What did he do? He did the cooting part. That means dishum, dishum, dishum. Cool. So that is what is written here. And now General I.R.A. Coote will be taken as a prisoner. He will be in prison for 2 years. Then he will go back to France, and there he'll be guillotine. Guillotine. What happens? Guillotine. So your head will be like this. Something will fall over your head, and your head and your body will, disassociate themselves, and they'll be separated. So your head is here, and your body is there. And okay, enough. So Battle of Wandy Wash defeated the French, retreated to Pondicherry. Lally asked to help from Nawab Hyder Ali from Mysore. Again, we'll talk about Mysore tomorrow. I guess we'll talk about Mysore tomorrow. Yes. So you will realize that Mysore people, they love French people. French people, they love Mysore people. So in this time, Hyder Ali, he was like, dude, I'm sending you help. But before that help came, these guys were defeated. And that's why this is a Durbhagya. Durbhagya means a misfortune, that this whole thing happened, where Lally was defeated. He sought for French help. That French help was like Mysore help rather. That Mysore help did go to help French people, but that was too late. So French capital of Pondicherry finally surrendered in June 1761, and now the third treaty will happen, Treaty of Paris, or Peace of Paris. French settlements were returned again here, like Pondicherry, etc. They were taken from French earlier by EIC, English EIC. They will return it to them, but on one condition, that bro, you will not do any kind of, military activity. There will be no military outpost there. It will be just used for commercial activity, your French settlements which are there in Pondicherry region. So this is your third treaty, Treaty of Paris. Please remember, all these things are fine. All these stories are fine. Hector Munro, as Kritika said. Very good, Kritika. So all these points are fine, bro. But Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle, Treaty of Pondicherry, Treaty of Paris, their order, Battle of Adyar, Battle of Amber, all these things, Siege of Harcourt. These are the keywords which you have to focus on. All these stupid stories I make to make you realize that these things are important and you have to remember them. Fine, sir. Then what? Peace of Paris will happen, and now this guy is crying because the fate of Lally. He was imprisoned and then executed. And executed by what? Guillotine. Guillotine, I've read about guillotine in detail. It's not that painful, but I would not even want the biggest of enemies to go through that. But what I've heard is that there are worse ways to die than guillotine. But again, let's not go there. That's a very dark topic. That's not what we are discussing here. So again, Third Carnatic War brought down the final curtain. That French gone, EIC, they're here to stay. And they will be there for a long period of time. They will exploit us to the hilt and will leave us as one of the poorest countries in the world when they will leave by 1947. Now, there are some points which will help you in pre and more so in mains, why they were defeated. So, these are the points which we have discussed somewhat, like French people, and these, first of all, it's a government company. It's not as, efficient as English EIC, which is a private company. This we have seen here also in normal life also. Let's say you are working in a government setup and you are working in a private setup. With due respect to government setup, people are much more efficient in private setup because you're accountable to so many people. I'm making videos, so everything is in front of everyone. How many watch hours I'm getting, likes, I'm getting comments, I'm getting how much engaging content is there. So in private setup, you're more accountable, unlike in public setup where you're peeking here, there, everywhere, 10 to 5 and all. With due respect to government job, there are so many good things also associated. But again, you can compare this like this: French EIC, government setup; English EIC, private setup, where they are accountable. So again, and this is another reason where we have talked about English EIC. They have rhymes. Seas for colonies, rightly we boast. Of all great countries, Great Britain has most. So they attach a lot of importance to acquiring colonies. French people, French King Louis XIV, he has more ambitions regarding acquiring more territories on the European mainland, and that is what is written here. So they are following an expansionist policy in European mainland. They want to acquire colonies, but that is their secondary motive, unlike English EIC or the Britain people or the British people who wants to acquire colony as much as possible, because that is considered a matter of repute there. So that is what is written here. On the other hand, England followed the single-minded objective of colonial expansion, an objective in which it achieved considerable success. And this is the rhyme I'm talking about. Seas for colonies, rightly we boast. These were the rhymes which students and the kids used to study in their childhood. This is actually not very correct. I don't think students should be reading this. I don't know which lessons they are getting here. Seas for colonies, rightly we boast that of all the great nations, Great Britain has most. Oh my God. Okay. Different system of governance. Again, in French, like French Revolution, you will see 1789 and all those things. So it was like before Louis XVI and the French Revolution happened, it was all autocratic. And this whole thing, Battle of Vendée Wash, Carnatic Wars, happened before French Revolution. You will read about French Revolution in world history. On the other hand, in England, around 1688, a glorious revolution has happened. So although not a full democracy they were, but they were enlightened oligarchy. That means a group of people were ruling, and they were very close to getting a constitutional setup. So there was more democratic structure, not exactly full-fledged democratic setup was there in England at that time, but glorious revolution of 1688 has happened in England, and they were comparatively more, open, more forward-looking, and more not confined to one or two people, whims and fancies, unlike French people or the French, empire at that time based on the whims and fancies of Louis XIV, 15 and 16. When Louis XVI will be going on in French Revolution 1789, then there will be a period of so many things which will be happening in French, like reign of terror, and then Napoleon will come, and then so many things. So again, French history is so complicated. We'll talk about that also, how French Revolution actually was not a revolution, but again, it was just continuation of certain things. We'll talk about that later on. But yes, French government was more autocratic as compared to English government, and that is what is written here. This is the reason which you will be writing at the last. The most important reasons are private public setup, that reason. Second, ambitions of French people or French crown and the British crown. Third point, when we're talking about the Carnatic Wars, how French people and the French EIC, when they used to want support, they used to get support from Mauritius if they want support in Pondicherry. On the other hand, if English EIC needs support in Madras, they can get it from Calcutta, which is much nearer. So all these are major reasons why English EIC will be defeated. And then the Battle of Plassey thing also, 1757. So much money pouring into English EIC, which will give them so much economic advantage over the French EIC. So these are some facts which you have to keep in mind. So that is what is written here. Have a look at all these points. We have discussed these points. And let's move on to some questions now. So this is MCQ 1 in front of you. How many of the following pairs have been correctly matched? Have a look at this. First, that is First Carnatic War, Treaty of Paris. Second Carnatic War, Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. And Third Carnatic War, Treaty of Pondicherry. Select the answer from the options given below. A1 only, B2 only, C all three, D none. So what is the answer? I will give you 30 seconds or maybe 40 seconds. So Dark has given the answer. Dark is giving Dark vibe. Oh my God, Dark, awesome name. I'm seeing you after such a long period of time. So yes, sir, First Carnatic War. Whosoever. I stammer a lot. Hrithik Roshan also used to stammer a lot in his childhood. I'm not saying I'm Hrithik Roshan, but that's stupid. So yes, sir, let's have a discussion. The Dark and Kritika has given the answer. So First Carnatic War, Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle, not Treaty of Paris. Second Carnatic War, Treaty of Pondicherry. Third Carnatic War, Treaty of Paris. None of the options are correctly matched. So as Dark and Kritika said, the answer is D, that is none. Very good. Let's move on. Question number 2. Which of the following statements are correct about the First Anglo-Carnatic War? The war took place during the War of Austrian Succession in Europe. The Battle of Vendée Wash was a significant engagement during the course of the war. As a result of the war, the French acquired Louisbourg in North America. What do you want to say about it? So let's start the 30-second timer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 30. So 30 seconds timer is done. So let's try to solve this question. First Anglo-Carnatic War. What are the statements which are wrong? Battle of Vendée Wash happened in 1760, bro. So how come it is associated with First Anglo-Carnatic War? Just eliminate second. Dark has given the answer. So second is wrong, bro. If second is wrong, you are left with only C1 and 3. First, it happened during the War of Austrian Succession, and French acquired Louisbourg. And in return, French gave back Madras, which they had captured earlier. Very, very good. Let's move on. MCQ 3. Which of the following events did not? And again, sometimes UPSC will make it bold, sometimes they will not. So, which of the following events did not take place during the course of Second Anglo-Carnatic War? A. The combined armies of Muzaffar Jung, Chand Sahib and the French. Earlier I used to read it as Chanda Sahib. That is so stupid of me. So, Chand Sahib and the French defeated and killed Anwaruddin at the Battle of Amber. B. The French army under Count de Lally captured English forts at St. David and Vizianagaram. C. The French army under Bassi was stationed at Hyderabad to secure French interests there. D. Some areas on the Odisha coast, including Masulipatam, were ceded to the French. So let's start 40-second timer. Very good, Dark and Kritika. So bros, the answer is, where was I? Did not take place during the course of Second Anglo-Carnatic War. Muzaffar Jung, Chand Sahib, French defeated, and Battle of Amber is Second Anglo-Carnatic War. So it did happen. French army under Count de Lally. Lally, you hear about Lally in Third Anglo-Carnatic War. Lally is nowhere to be seen in the Second Anglo-Carnatic War, bro. So this is the event which did not happen. B is the answer. B is the answer. B is the answer. See, the French army under Bassi was stationed at Hyderabad. This Bassi is associated with Second Anglo-Carnatic War. Some areas in the Odisha were ceded to the French. Again, please remember the key word here is, where was this Lally thing is happening because of, whatever French suffered at the end of Second Anglo-Carnatic War. So Lally will come into picture in the Third Anglo-Carnatic War. So the answer is B, as stated by Dark. Well tried by Kritika. Very good. Again, revise it. These are not easy things. Carnatic War, anyway, most of the people hate it. So you are not alone. You have to revise a lot. The more you will revise them, the better you will become in them. So again, I have shared up until lecture 29. This is lecture 30. I will share it in this particular Telegram channel. Fun study with Shubh, because study should be fun. And yes, sir. Anything else? Any doubt? Any queries you have? I'm there for you. Okay, it was not correct. No issues. Not correct. Yes, exactly. And sometimes people don't read it. See, I will also tell you one thing. Our March batch has started. If you're preparing for, let's say, 2026, you can join this particular March batch. You can use the code SHS Live, which you're seeing in the download portion also. You will get, maximum discount. And admission is closing on 15th March 2025. You can see all these things, full refund on clearing prelims. That is actually a very interesting thing. Now, the point again, do join it at the earliest. And any queries you have related to anything, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll be gone. Means I'll be going then. I'll be seeing you tomorrow at 7 p.m. ठीक है? So I think you people don't have any queries, any doubt. Then I will see you tomorrow. Please revise all these stuff. And the more you revise, sir, when will the other subject start? When this subject will be done, Kritika? So again, rather than, focusing on other areas, focus on, or the areas not yet covered, focus on covering this area, Kritika. Cover this at the earliest, because we shouldn't be making mistake in those areas which you have already done, right? So that is the thing. So cover, like we have done ancient medieval, we are in the modern part. We have also included the art and culture portion here. So we have done a lot of things, and you have to revise all these things. Plus I'm taking current affairs videos, also small videos. Do revise it. That will help you in current affairs as well. So I'm doing my absolute best to help you in pre, and the only thing which you have to do is revise these things. I'm not confining myself to only history. By covering current affairs, I'm ensuring that I'm covering other areas for you as well. So yes, you can watch those videos also. You will be watching one video of mine at 9 p.m. today related to environment, related to national park and a particular tiger reserve. So yes, sir, I am there for you. And any queries, any issue you have, you can find me anywhere and everywhere. Join my Telegram channel. You can find me on social media as well. So I will see you soon then. Take